Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The message reads like this: Hello, how are you, my brother? Please share my story. My story is one painful story, and writing it brings back all of those horrible memories, and I feel the need to write this to you so that parents out there can learn to protect their children. All of my life, it was taken away by my father's brother. I was only 10 years old when all of these things started, and he did all of those things for his personal gain. Now that I am old, I understand why he did all of those things that he did to me. He did it so that he would get money. Money indeed is the root of all evil. I never thought that my father's brother would have the strength and the courage to do all of those unthinkable things that he did to me. I have given up so many times in my life. I don't see the need to be alive because of all the things that he did to me. It is even affecting me. I think that even my memory, it is very damaged, because what happens to me, my brother, whenever I try to think about any good thing that happened to me, the thing that I keep on thinking about is what my fathers did. It is what my father's brother did to me. My father's brother, he was a very abusive man, and yet he was the only person in the family whom we can say that he was a little bit wealthier. So he used to take care of all of his relatives. So when I was 9 years old, that is when he came and he collected me from the village. He told my father and my mother that he wanted me to have a very good education, and there in the capital city I was supposed to go and study at this private school. I was really excited. As we were leaving the village, I told everyone that indeed I was going to have a great future, because no one had ever thought that I would end up studying at a private school. And when we had arrived in the city, he kept his promises. In a short period of time, I was now attending this very expensive school. It is a private school, but my brother, then the abuse started. That man, he was just an abusive man. He used to hit his wife. He used to hit even his kids. He was too much controlling, such that we feared him. Even the dogs, they used to fear him. Whenever he would be back from work, we would all scatter and run away and hide in our bedrooms and pretend to be reading our books. He never spoke any kind words to us, especially me, since I was the one who was staying there, who was not his biological daughter. Whenever I would try, whenever I would be happy, he would make sure that he would bring me back to reality, and he would tell me that the reason why I was staying with him, it was because he had felt so sorry for my parents, and he kept on blaming my mother. And he said that if my father had not gotten married to my mother, my father was going to become a very rich man. And whenever he would insult my mom, then I would go and lock myself in the bedroom and I would start to cry. Life was so terrible, because indeed he was a control freak, and his entire family was so scared of him. By the time when I turned 15 years old, that is when I saw that their businesses, they were really going down. I mean, that man, he had a lot of trucks and other shops. He had grocery shops. When I turned 15, that is when most of his businesses started to fall down. He had a lot of grocery shops, but there was a time when he closed almost all of his grocery stores. Then one day, his wife came into my room. Then she sat on the bed, and when she sat on the bed, that is when I realized that something was really wrong. And I realized that the things that she wanted to tell me, she was even afraid to tell me all of those things. I really felt sorry for her, because as she was talking to me, I saw that she was trying as much as she could so that she can control her tears. Her eyes were filled with tears, and the moment that she was walking out of my room, I saw tears falling down her face. At that time, if only I had known all of the details about the things that my father's brother was planning to do with me, maybe I could have ran away, because after 2 days when she had came to my room, that is when my father's brother walked into my bedroom. It really shocked me, because when he walked into my bedroom, he was just naked, and he even pretended as if he had lost his way. He just said, "Sorry, my child, I thought that this is my bedroom, or maybe I am just getting old." Then he walked away. That picture, my brother, of him walking into my bedroom as he was naked, it is very difficult for me to remove it out of my memory. That is where the whole trauma started, because one evening after we had finished eating, so I went to my bedroom so that I can read this other novel that I was reading. Then he called me and he told me that there was this other place where he wanted me to accompany him without asking him, since we were all afraid of him. But as we were leaving, I saw that his own wife, she really looked depressed, because she just looked away and she was wiping away her tears. When we got into the car, he started playing a lot of loud music. Then she gave me something to drink, but what she gave me to drink, I noticed that it was traditional beer. As soon as I started drinking that traditional beer, I then lost touch with reality. I started to hallucinate as if I was seeing otherworldly creatures that were traveling with us in his car. We traveled, I don't know for how many hours, until we had reached this other village. When we got into that village, he then parked his car at this other house. Then we got out of the car. He told me that we had traveled all the way from the city coming to the village because he wanted to consult, he said, with his personal traditional healer. I was really shocked with what he asked me to do, because when that traditional healer walked out of his house, he then told me rudely that I had to go and wait for them in his consulting room. He just pointed at this other mud house which was almost in the middle of the compound, and he told me that I was supposed to go there and wait for them. I went into that consultation room. My brother, I sat there in the dark. And as I was sitting in the dark, I saw something that came out of the walls. It seemed as if that creature, it was in between the walls. When that creature came out of the walls, then it transformed itself and it became a man. Whatever that creature was, after it had transformed itself into a man, then I saw the most shocking thing that I had ever seen in my life. That man who had came out of the walls then walked towards where I was sitting, then started removing all of my clothes and made me to lie on a reed mat. The next thing that happened, my brother, the whole room was so bright as if someone had just switched on a light. Then I saw the most shocking thing, because when I was still sitting in the dark, I thought that the creature that had came out of the walls had turned out to be a man, because when suddenly there was light in that mud room that I was in, I then saw that there was just a man's manhood that was suspended in the air. Then that man's manhood, my brother, came to that place where I was lying down, and at that time I was so paralyzed that I could not even move my body. The only thing that I told myself was to close my eyes and everything was going to be okay. It was really painful as that creature was busy abusing me. After that creature had abused me, then there was darkness and the whole room was just quiet. The only thing that I could hear was that there was a lot of rats that were going around that mud house. Then my father's brother, he came into that room with his personal traditional healer. Then they used a lot of herbs on me. All that while I was paralyzed, I could not even move my body. I then saw my father's brother removing his own clothes. I don't know what his traditional healer did to him, but I saw that the traditional healer took out a razor blade. After he had taken out a razor blade, he made some markings on my father's brother's manhood. He then sprinkled some herbs on that place where he had made some markings on his manhood. Then my father's brother started to abuse me as well. He abused me throughout the night after his personal traditional healer had left us to sleep. Then when it was somewhere around 5 a.m., that is when I was able to control my body. The moment that my father's brother saw that now I could even control my body, he then told me to get up, not to wash myself, only to wear my clothes, because we were supposed to travel back to the city. We traveled back to the city, and when we had returned back home, I saw that his wife, she was really troubled, but it seemed as if she could not even save me. When I had arrived in the city, my brother, I can say that I was a very intelligent girl in our class, but with that trauma that had happened to me when I was taken to that village by my father's brother, I then started to lose focus. Even now, I am someone who is easily distracted by little things, because I am always scared that around the corner, maybe that creature will be waiting to abuse me again. Now that I have grown up, my brother, and I have tried to enter into several marriages, but the thing that I have noticed is that whenever I fall in love with a guy, if we sleep together, then if I just have a dream, and in that dream, if I see a man that will be wearing black, that will be wearing a very long black gown, then the relationship will never go anywhere. I have tried to fall pregnant several times, but all of the pregnancies that I have carried, they have all ended up in miscarriages, because after we had returned back home to the city, at that time when I was staying with my father's brother, he kept on abusing me, and I don't know how many times I fell pregnant for him, and each and every time when I would fall pregnant for him, he would then give me some charms that I was supposed to drink. It was more like a herbal tea. He would tell me that I was supposed to drink that herbal tea so as to strengthen the pregnancy, but soon after that I will start to bleed, then I will have a miscarriage. So I don't know if maybe there was damage that was done to my womb, because this is the thing that keeps on happening to me. Whenever I try to fall pregnant, then the pregnancy will just result in a miscarriage. My brother, I am suffering a lot. The reason why I have said, parents out there, no matter how poor you are supposed to protect your children, because if anyone comes to you and if they tell you that they want to take care of your child, please make sure that you always speak with your children, asking them if they are safe or not. Because my father's brother, since he was very wealthy, my own father and my mother, they never even bothered to come and check up on me. The reason why they never even bothered to come and check up on me, it was because they were afraid of confronting my father's brother. He was afraid that if he would say anything that will not please his brother, then maybe my father's brother will cut all financial assistance, because after abusing me, he then will remind me that if I was going to tell my parents, then he was never going to assist them financially again. And even now, I am still scared of telling anyone my story, because my father's brother's wife is the one who is still taking care of my mom. And now I am really even scared, because if I am left alone to take care of my mom, I will never be able to do so, because now she is suffering from a chronic illness that requires a lot of money. Even now that I am all grown up, I am still reliant on that woman whose husband abused me from a very young age. Yo, dear listeners, right there was a message that I received. Then I had to ask one of our admins to give us a translation. Please let us talk with our dear sister in the comment section.